this meeting to order. Present are on Zoom, Pete Shalecki, Helen Riley, and Chris Siri. In person, Brandon Hyde, Richard Morrell. Also, Wetlands Agent and City Planner Dan Deniska and Recording Secretary Catherine Rose. Everyone is voting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from September 4th?
I mean, also like Palm Springs something.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Making the motion to approve.
That was Chris.
Correct.
Was
Yes.
Chris?
Yeah, it was me, Chris.
Okay. Is a motion on the table? Do I hear a second?
Second.
So there's a second. All in favor?
Chris, I.
Helen Riley, aye.
Pete, aye.
Brandon Hyde, aye.
Unanimous, so moved. Communications,
None tonight.
old business IWWCC number 25-8, 89 Canterbury Turnpike.
And I believe Greg Pettis is online for that. Do you want to share your screen, Greg?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah, I just gotta shrink my screen down a little bit so I can share appropriately here. One second. Oops. Okay, can everyone see the plan?
yes.
Okay. And I thought, my name's Greg Fettis with Fettis Engineering, representing the owner of the property. Fettis Engineering with an office at 70 Essex Street in Mystic, Connecticut. Professional engineer licensed in the state of Connecticut. We went through the two review letters from the town engineer as well as the town planner. Addressed all the comments. I believe we got feedback from the town engineer saying all comments have been addressed. What I can do it a couple different ways. We can kind of go through every sheet again. I can go through the review letters and just tell you what we changed. We can look at just 5, 7, and 10, which are the ones with activities within the regulated review area. And then I could probably do that in the blown up 40 scale site plans, as well as the 40 scale erosion and sediment control plans, if that makes sense. I'll just take you quickly through the plan set. I'm just gonna reduce it down just a little bit, and we can blow it up as necessary. All right, not sure why it's not.
Excuse me, Greg, could we actually go through the letter first just to see what was addressed?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Do you want me to put the letter up on the screen, or does everyone have it in front of them?
If you could put it on the screen, that would be great.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, it's all right if we start with the engineering review.
Yes.
So what we did was basically copied all the comments from the town engineer, and then we addressed our responses are in bold, black bold, right underneath each item. So number one, overall plan comments. All anticipated site work within wetlands and regulated upland areas should be clearly identified, including square footage of disturbances. So we shaded all of the disturbances within the 100-foot review area, basically the limit of clearing to the 100-foot line, and we calculated the square footage and noted it on each of the areas affected. Number two, indicate preliminary utility service locations. We added public water where applicable off of Canterbury Turnpike and wells off in the rear lots, as well as preliminary septic locations for each lot. We added the soil testing results for the 12 lots, as well as preliminary designs for all the lots, which is a repeat. Please indicate the intended surface treatment of driveways. We added a drainage summary for all lots to all the site development plans, which kind of takes you through how we're going to treat each lot. I can flip to that when I get back to the plans and go through that in detail. We had used notes from a previous plan in Groton, so we basically notes 1, 2, 3, 4, or items from the town engineer 1 through 9 were all clarifications. We got rid of Groton, got rid of notes that didn't apply, but we did clean all those notes up and made sure we removed any reference to Groton. Number 10, we're not in the CAM zone. That was a leftover note also, which we fixed. Plan sheet 7 of 7, which is the overall site sediment and erosion control plan. We had referenced the 2002 guidelines, and it's currently we referenced the current one, which is I think it was accepted in 2003 and went into effect in 2023 and 2024 respectively. We made that note on the plan. Number 2, the stormwater system. We added a stormwater summary to all site plan sheets. Again, I'll go through that in detail. Limits of clearing. We added a limits of clearing and proposed tree line to all lots. We added an anti-tracking pad in detail to all lots. Number 5, there's a new wing spacing for silt fence, which basically they just want to make sure something doesn't slip by the end of the silt fence. So there's a detail and table that we added to the plan. Number 5, number 6 is we added stockpile locations for all the lots. So that was the engineering response. Let me pull up the I think I have, yeah. All right, I have 2. Let me just engineering. Planners review. All right. All right. I'm sorry, I just got to download the planners review. All right, sorry about that. The planners review again, item by item, point by point response. This is really for the last meeting, which was whether or not a public hearing is warranted. So no response necessary on that. Reference to the town engineer's comments. All comments from town engineer have been addressed. Number 3, we added the soil scientist's signature to all the applicable sheets of the plan set. Number 4, preliminary utility layouts. We added well, public water and septic system locations to all the lots. Number 5, we added the construction entrances, stockpiles, and silt fence to all the lots. Number 6, some of these are repeats from the town engineers, but so we added the limit of clearing, which is / the proposed tree line to all lots. Number 7, we added the upland review area impacts to lots 5, 7, and 10. Number 8, we eliminated all the references to the town of Groton. Number 9, again, the guidelines were updated effective March 30th, 2024. We updated that on the plans. Moderate sensitivity for archaeological resources. We will comply with the request that if we find anything, we'll notify the City of Norwich Planning Department. Number 11, final revised plans will be reviewed and submitted and reviewed by city staff. We will do that. We'll submit final plans. And then number 12 was the conditions. If you chose to approve, we're in agreement with all the conditions stated below. So I don't know that I need to go through those, but that's it. I can, let me see. Bring the plan set back up and kind of look at the 3 lots and maybe the stormwater summary, if that makes sense for everyone.
Yes, please.
Okay. So again, just quickly, we added some sheets, so we're up to 11 sheets. You can see George Logan's soil scientist certification on the cover sheet, as well as several of the other sheets. Sheet 2 is the record subdivision plan. Again, George Logan's signature on that. Sheet 3 is the overall site development plan. You can see the house and driveway locations. We showed grading, and I'm going to wait to get to the 40 scale drawings to kind of look at the individual lots, but you can see the proposed grading on lot 5, proposed grading on lot 7, and proposed grading on lot 10, which were the ones that kind of dip into the regulated review area. So here is lot 5, which the driveway is within the 100-foot regulated review area. Let's see if I can blow this up a little bit. There we go. So we put, it's going to come into focus here in a second. We put the distance to the wetland, the closest point to the primary septic. The house, we were able to, house and garage are out of the 100-foot regulated review area. We did do kind of finish grading on this, so we're stayed outside the 100-foot regulated review area for the most part. We dipped in a little bit over here in this upper corner, so that was 496 square feet. We did dip in a little bit here with the leaching. It's 522 square feet, and then the driveway, in order to get up to the house, a good portion of the driveway is 69.4 feet away from that wetland at the closest point, and that's 4,128 square feet. So we also showed the water line coming up to the right of the driveway, and the septic system, which the length of the septic system is driven by the Department of Public Health regulations that require a certain length for what they call MLSS, which is basically the spread of the system. So just on this sheet, we also kind of did a stormwater summary. Some of this will apply to the lots that aren't affected by wetlands, but for each of the wetland lots, the driveways will be paved with bituminous concrete and will be super elevated away from sensitive areas, which are the inland wetlands. And super elevated just means we're gonna, instead of crowning the driveway, so part of it goes to one side and part goes to the other side, the driveway will be tipped. So the water drains away from the wetlands. And when we do that, the water will, work its way away from the wetlands to one edge of the driveway. On that edge, we'll put a crushed stone infiltration trench 2 feet wide, which will run the length of the driveway to capture the first 1.3 inches of rainfall that fall on the driveway, which is the stormwater or the water quality volume. That's kind of a standard for single individual lot development. The infiltration trench will terminate at a rain garden proposed at the down gradient end of the driveway. So this trench, if it doesn't infiltrate into the ground, it will run down along the edge of the driveway, basically in the crushed stone, and terminate in a rain garden that'll be sized again accordingly with the trench in order to capture that 1.3 inches of rainfall. And if that fills up in a larger storm, it'll overflow over a level spreader at the edge of the rain garden and drain to the gutter line of Canterbury Turnpike. And then run to the stormwater system. Basically, this bullet number 4. Bullet number 5 is the roof drains will be directed to an underground crushed stone infiltration system that is capable of handling the first 1.3 inches of rain that lands on the roof of the proposed house and garage. That'll be located underground above, for example, over here on 5, that would be located up in this area up here, away from the septic system. So the first 1.3 inches will land in that infiltration system, the crushed stone infiltration system, and there will be an overflow on that in case it does fill up with the first, but it'll be sized for the first 1.3 inches of rain that lands on the house. The last one is just a statement. We know we will need to come back before the commission for the individual lot development. So these items will all be detailed at that time on lots 5, 7, and 10. So I can go through 7. I'll do them in order. So similarly, we tucked the house and garage into the corner, kind of far away from the wetlands as we could. It's 70.2 feet away. We show all the proposed grading. We have the leaching trench down, primary leaching down closer to Canterbury Turnpike because it's down gradient. We showed the reserve area up here, which in theory will never be utilized. Limits of clearing, and then the upland disturbance area is 7,500 square feet, which is located the shaded area, lighter shaded area. And again, the water coming off of Canterbury Turnpike runs up and around, ties into the house in the back. So that's 7. There's a small, this was that little bit of area on from 5 that had to do a little bit of grading actually on the right of way to 6, but that I showed on 5. So this is 10. We were successful. I think last time we had the house within the 100-foot regulated review area. So we tightened up the house a little bit. We did a garage under because of the grade changes. And we were able to get the entire house. And I think the majority of if not all the driveway might just touch the 100-foot regulated review area. But basically enter garage under, and then a majority of our grading also is located outside the 100-foot regulated review area. Septic kind of needed to be down gradient, and that the primary limits of clearing and so forth. The disturbance area of the it's the reserve. Okay, so it's 3,684 square feet. The house is 100.1 feet away from the wetland, and the primary leaching is 83.6 feet away. So I think we did a pretty good job on that one, trying to keep everything again as close. We're kind of restricted by the 50-foot front yard setback. We're right on that with the house. So that's kind of the rest of the houses are, I showed septic and well on all of them, and you can see like lot 11 is pretty good distance from the 100-foot regulated review area. Just flipping to the last site plan sheet, which is 12, again, is we tried to stay away from the Algonquin gas line easement. I think they have a gas pipe running under there. Stayed away from that, even though their property kind of extends across it. And then lot 9 is kind of tucked down below the 100-foot regulated review line. And then just quickly, I'll touch base. We did a 40 scale erosion sediment control plans. Did a overall 100 scale, but it's kind of hard to read. So generally speaking, we added stockpile areas, silt fence, down gradient, and anti-tracking on the driveway for the first 50 feet of all the driveways. And then silt fence, which line up with the limits of clearing. We could add the grading and the limits of clearing to this sheet. But we kind of felt that the silt fence shows up, which is the big thing on the other sheets with all that information. We do show the grading here for 5. Tried to keep the stockpiles out of the 100-foot regulated review area. I think we were successful everywhere. Again, anti-tracking pads on all. This is the detail about the wings, slope length and wing spacing on the that the town engineer had asked for. Again, same three items really for erosion sediment control: stockpile, anti-tracking, and the silt fence down gradient. And we typically put a note on the plans that say, hey, if the wetlands enforcement officer or zoning enforcement officer you know, see any kind of threats to anything down gradient, we'll add we'll have extra silt fence on site, extra hay bales on site, extra crushed stone on site in order to respond quickly to any of those requests. And just the 40 scale of 9 and 12, and then the test pit information. So that's it, unless there's any questions. Hopefully satisfied the staff's concerns and comments, and that if there's any questions from the commission, I'm happy to answer and provide anything else that's needed. Thank you.
A few questions. Did we review the soil science report and the environmental report? What's the value of these wetlands?
I don't think we didn't get a separate wetlands report for that.
So we don't know the value of these wetlands, the amphibian life, or would that be considered when we're in an upland review area?
It would be,
Or is that more
New
when you
to
get to
me.
the specific
yeah,
site,
site if they were
not for something?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want clarification on that. Thank you.
not for single family homes, I should
Okay.
say, if it was a larger project.
Could you show me the well on lot 5 again, please? Proposed well versus,
Yeah, so lot 5 has is public water
oh, it
coming
is.
off of Canterbury Turnpike.
Then was the septic underneath the driveway?
It is, yes, for a portion of it, yes.
There's no concerns there.
No, there's this very specific detail we use for this type of system. This is a GST, which is a combination of crushed stone and sand. Holds up pretty well on its own, but what we do is we take when we get to that point, we'll have a detail for it. It's a combination of crushed stone and geogrid layers that go over the system and basically absorbs. It's an H20 loading, which for the driveway in this case, in theory, you wouldn't need, but we wouldn't want to risk take any chances, so we would do that.
The geogrid helps spread the weight. I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I noticed the clearing line wraps around the first field, but not the second. Is that correct?
Yeah, the second field is the reserve area, and kind of ironically, once we put the primary system in and get it approved by the health district, the reserve is no longer required. So we don't have to prep it. We don't have to utilize it in the future. I think the system we're proposing is a GST system. They have a system that can basically extend the life indefinitely instead of digging it up and replacing it. So we found that we wouldn't clear the reserve area, one, because it's never going to be utilized, and two, we were trying to limit the clearing within the 100-foot regulated review area.
Thank you for explaining that regulation. Just something that caught my eye, Dan, is on lot 7, the septic is also very close to the road. Is there a setback? Has to be observed.
That's the one on Canterbury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we usually defer to Uncas Health. If they're okay with it, then we're okay with it.
That one cuts quite a bit into that. I
Yeah,
had a hard time with that one,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's really in there. I mean, 2/3 of the house is
tough lot.
a real tough one. And we know what happens. People buy these, they don't always respect.
Yeah.
Wetlands.
Yeah, so on that one, I kind of had similar concerns. You can see we tried to stuff the house as far left as possible, but we're up against the side setback. What I was thinking, and this isn't really a wetland issue, but it's a more of a zoning issue. We have uh, the access to lot 6 right next door, but our driveway is actually coming off of BB Road where we do have rights of access. Um, if we could get rid of the access to lot 6 and consider that a frontage lot on BB Cove or BB Cove. I'm down in Mystic here. Sorry. BB Road. We could shift everything another, I think it's 25 feet away from the wetlands, which would actually offer a little more room. Pull the leaching almost all the way out and pull the majority of the house out. Again, that's a question I have to defer to talking to the staff about. But we would be willing to do that. I mean, if you look at lot 6, well, that's 8. Let me just go back one. Let me bring it down a little bit. So this is lot 7 is right here, which is the one we're discussing. Lot 5 is next to that. And then you have a 25-foot right of way between 5 and 7 that goes up to lot 6. And you can see our driveway comes off of lot 6. So we really, I guess I would defer to staff, planning staff and zoning staff regarding whether or not we can eliminate that access.
We could definitely.
No, and I know this is hard because it's hard to vote on the subdivision and the macro without thinking about some of the micro minutia. If you approve it, you're one step closer. I don't know, it's not typical, but maybe with approval of this, we could put in our notes that we would favor that, our opinion.
Sure.
To zoning.
Sure.
To help the wetlands.
Yeah, and then we'll go to CCP.
Exactly. Yeah. So that would just be a note.
That can be a discussion between
Sure.
meetings.
Felt like I've spoken quite a bit. I'll let the rest of the commission speak.
Pete, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Chris?
No, actually, I had the same septic questions as Brandon there, and they were answered, so I'm pretty good. And I do, thanks Greg for explaining the reserve stuff too, so thank you.
Yes, sir.
Cullen?
I do not. Thank you.
Dan, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't, I would just, as Greg noted, all of my concerns were answered and the city engineer sent a message this afternoon that he was okay. His concerns were addressed. If someone does choose to make a motion for approval, I would ask that the conditions from my original memo be included and whatever you want to add tonight. Then I have to change the date on it. 9/4 to 10/2. And I would remind you that these 3 lots would have to come back before you, if someone ever chooses to build a house on that.
But what is our, what's our legal standpoint on it? If we approve a subdivision, we say, okay, this is a building lot. And then somebody comes back and we say, no, you can't build on it because it doesn't fit. Is there any recourse? What's?
I don't have a legal opinion for you in this moment.
Yeah.
But it's something to consider, absolutely. Your approval tonight is a report to the CCP to approve the subdivision lots.
Right.
It is also noted that the purchaser must come back to us for those 3 lots anyway.
Yeah, but I think to Brandon's point, if the lot gets approved and then it comes back and the commission says no.
Or if the subdivision gets approved as an approved lot, and then a buyer buys the lot.
Yeah.
And the developer does not develop the lot, but somebody private does, assuming they're buying an approved lot. And then they don't realize the heavy restrictions they have on it.
Yeah.
That's the concern.
I don't want to venture an opinion on that.
No, I know, and I'm sorry to put you on the record, I'm just making out loud. Thank you, you don't have.
I think the only thing I would say to that is we can inquire about questions like that. If you want to wait on a decision tonight for the next meeting. I do believe that the applicant grant the commission should have the full timeline.
Is there any further discussion?
Hi, this is Chris. I'm fine at this time.
Should we consider an extension just so a couple of these questions could be answered?
Hi, this is Chris again. Yeah, with Brandon's comments there, that was a good point. So, I would be okay with extending it just to the next meeting, maybe to get those clarified, just, for, transparency and whatnot.
Any other comments, pro and con?
Could I weigh in just on that
Sure.
topic? So historically, at least in my experience, like for example, on lot 5 that we're looking at right now on the screen, if somebody came back with a house that was twice as big and over into the regulated review area, this approval would not cover that. This is kind of showing you that you can get a house outside of the 100-foot regulated review area. Yes, the driveway is in the review area, so if you're kind of okay with that, and the septic is in the review area, if you're kind of okay with that, those are the kind of two. This is the best that someone can do. Could they shift and build a different, smaller house further away from the wetlands? Yes. Could they build a bigger house closer to the wetlands and do a lot of grading, 50 feet from the wetlands? No, this approval doesn't make you or force you to approve something like that. I think what it says is that, hey, you can get a house there that's reasonably sized, 2-car garage and a septic that works on the lot and a driveway that goes into the regulated review area. Anything more than what's shown here, you wouldn't be forced to approve. But I guess this is kind of the best somebody could do. Could they do something else or something smaller or something outside the regulated review area? Yes. If that's helpful.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to extend, to approve or not approve?
How many days, Dan, do we have left?
I would need a minute to run upstairs.
Okay.
It takes a while, but,
But before the next meeting.
you need an extension to the next meeting. Yeah.
I guess this is Greg Fettis. If the commission is contemplating extending it, we would grant the extension as necessary. Obviously, our preference is to seek an approval tonight, but understanding the commission's concerns, we would grant the extension. Thank you.
That's good of you, Greg. Thank you. And if I could speak on behalf of the commission, we're not trying to slow progress. We just, our job is to take care of the wetlands in town. So I think a few of us just need to wrap our heads around this a little bit more. Look into some of the questions that we have. So appreciate that offer of extension. That being said, I'll put motion on the floor to accept that offer and postpone IWWCC 25-08 to the next meeting, please.
Pete, second.
All in favor?
Chris, I. Colin, I.
Pete, I.
Brandon, I.
Unanimous, so moved. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
New business?
Yes, we have one application. It will be IWWCC 205 M3. It's the Ockham Industrial Center. They're coming back to modify the plan to reduce the length of the road north of Canterbury Turnpike significantly. So it's just having glanced at it briefly this morning, it's significantly less disturbance than the last modification that you approved. The road is much shorter. So tonight you just need to, if you don't mind, receive and table. But the key is if you want to hold a public hearing or not. Just the information I'll provide you is that it's less of a disturbance, which you have not held a public hearing for the last two modifications. So,
Okay. Move to accept the receipt of this application and table it to the next meeting for review.
Pete, second.
All in favor?
Chris, I. Colin, I.
Pete, I.
Brandon, I.
Unanimous, so moved.
I think we need a second motion.
We did get a second.
No, the public hearing.
Oh, whether or not it's public hearing, yes.
I further move that this does not warrant a public hearing, seeing as the road is actually being.
你妈什么时候来的？但是他什么时候还要来？啊，
Pete, second.
All in favor?
Chris, I. 然后就我想 Colin, I.
Pete, I.
Unanimous, so moved. Violations?
Not this one. No.
Move to adjourn.
Pete, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
多久的 Chris, I.
Unanimous, so moved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Have
Have a good night.